stability, but what would you point to? What's your observation of the appreciation of the currency, triggers and so on that you would note?
We would have to go back a little on that. So you remember, I don't think there's any time Governor Cardoso has spoken that he did not say that the currency is significantly undervalued.
Right.
I don't think there's any time he has not said that.
Yeah.
What happened over the 2.5 years ago is what we call a distortion. The indices and the unorthodox way we were managing things distorted demand, supply dynamics, and all of that. And so that pressure reflected in the exorbitant depreciation of the currency.
Yeah.
As things are stabilizing, the currency is beginning to get more confidence. There's a significant amount of people who are willing to hold Naira because interest rates are good, the stability is there, the portfolio investors are more confident. Investors in general are significantly more confident. There's a lot of transparency in the market, the new FM systems. There's a lot, the code of conduct that was launched, the discipline in the market has changed. The parallel versus official market discrepancy that was as high as 70% is down to somewhere like 2%. All of those things were the work going on behind the scenes in order to make sure that not just the orthodoxy in interest rates for monetary policy, but how the market fundamentals work. Now, all of that, plus the accretion of the reserves, the transmission of what's going on in NNPC, the supply-demand behavior dynamics as a country has changed. All of these are significantly positive things for the currency. It's taken a bit of time for it to reflect, but as you can see, it's now reflecting. Going below 1,500 is a very, very significant move because for those in markets, we say you have psychological barriers. The most significant psychological barrier we've encountered in a long time is 1,500. The next one, in my own estimate, is 1,000. And so once you break the 1,500 psychological barrier, the expectation is that generally in markets, you accelerate to the next one and then hang around there. So you notice from 1,819, we came down, hung around 1,6, then 1,550, stayed there. Now we've broken it. As long as it can be sustained, I think they'll continue seeing the appreciation.
Fantastic. Now, because you just touched on people, investors having more confidence holding Naira because of rates. And I guess that with where rates are, that now comes into balance, right? When you think about what decision they can make, because there's investors holding Naira versus, they keep getting the economy to grow and so on. I've been meaning to ask you this. The transmission impact, the transmission effect of the MPR, the monetary policy rates versus the exchange rates, which do you think has a stronger effect on the economy, on businesses and so on?
It depends on which business you're referring to, right? I would say if you're talking about the manufacturing sector, that is heavily dependent on importing raw materials, you would say foreign exchange, right? Because 30% borrowing costs right now versus 30% moving the currency. We know it takes, if you borrow for 1 year at 30%, you're going to accrue 30% over 1 year. But if you don't manage your currency properly, you can lose 30% in less time. So for them, yes. For some other people, it will be interest rates if they don't have a heavy dependency on foreign exchange. But the foreign exchange rate feeds into inflation quite quickly. So I would say, looking at all in all, I would say the foreign exchange rate is a significantly stronger lever than interest rates.